morning we have our regular attendees, if I can put it that way. No stranger to the studio, Mr. Blois and Mr. Clark from our Fire and Rescue Services Department here in St. Kitts in particular. We're not separating them, but these are the guys who are in the studio. They represent St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services. This morning, we're going to be covering a number of topics as it relates to fire safety in the Bastia district and the challenges that the fire department faces. Now, we're having this conversation to inform you of their plans and also to make you a part of the conversation. It's like a town hall, but just on radio, where you can have a say and they will take your input and take it back to the authorities and say, well, we were on the radio, we hear from the public, and we heard this suggestion, we heard that suggestion. So don't feel it's going to fall in deaf ears. It will not. So we appreciate you making a contribution this morning. So now that you know what's going to happen, let's get you the information so you can be equipped to ask your questions. The first topic we're going to be covering this morning will be addressing, the challenges in the Bastia district as it relates to fire safety. My first question to both of you, and by the way, good morning before we go any further. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the studio. Good morning, Mr. Blaze, and good morning, Mr. Clark.
Hi, good morning to you and the listening audience.
Morning to you.
Mr. Clark?
Good morning, JQ.
Yeah, oh, there we go, man. I know you're a guy with more passion than that, you know. You're surprising me this morning. All right, gentlemen. First question to both of you, and any one of you can answer. What are the main fire safety challenges currently facing the Bastia district? What are the main fire safety challenges currently facing the Bastia district?
Well, I'll take that one.
Clark, sure.
Okay. One of our main challenges in regards to fire safety for the Bastia district itself is population growth. Now, I'll explain a little further about population growth. We contacted Mr. Phipps, the director for statistics, and he provided us some numbers. Now, based on those numbers, we see an increase in the population growth in the Bastia district itself. The Bastia district covers from Trinity Parish straight over to St. Mary's Cairn Parish. It also includes St. Peter's, Bastia, and all over to southeast as well. So when we put those numbers together, we recognize that we have a growth. And in having a growth, it means that we are having challenges because we have the same unit itself, which is one station responding to an increase in population.
How equipped are you guys here, the Fire and Rescue Services, to deal with, let's say we have a multiple fire emergency happening simultaneously? How equipped are you prepared to deal with that in the Bastia district?
Very prepared for now. Resource allocation is one of our main component to deal with that situation. Now, resource allocation would go further is based on where the unit is responding to and the next fire occur, or if both fires occur at the same time, we would know which unit to cover that particular fire and which unit will cover that particular fire based on the demands or the need of the fire itself, based on the magnitude. So based on magnitude, we will dispatch Bastia to a particular fire. We may dispatch Sandy Point because it is closer to that particular fire, or we may dispatch Tabernacle to that particular fire itself.
Okay, so you don't have two fire appliances in Bastia then?
Presently, we have one active fire appliance in Bastia.
Okay. Are there specific, or should I say, any specific areas within Bastia that are more vulnerable to fire incidents?
Clark, you take that one.
Well, based on the question, JQ, yes, over the years we have been seeing an increase in bush fires, vegetation fires in the Cairn, St. Mary's area. We know that in that area we have a lot of vegetation. Yes, we have been called out very much in that area. So we just want to urge the general public, especially in the St. Mary's area, that we are a bit concerned about the amount of fires that we have been receiving over the months and the years. We're just asking them to use the best knowledge and can always visit the fire and rescue services or give us a call for us to advise them as the best way as it relates to burning any garbage, burning anything that they need to get rid of. There's a correct way. Seek permission from the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services. That will be the Basti district. We will go out and look at the area, scout the area, see what is burning. I mean, health department should get involved in that as well.
Yes.
Yes, get the health department involved. The health inspectors will come out and see what they wish to burn. So you won't deplete the ozone layer and this kind of stuff. And then once the health department separate the what can burn from what cannot burn, we will then go inspect the area, ensure that the neighbors are informed, ensure that they have water, and ensure that there is a fire break around wherever they need to burn, so prevent fire from spreading. And then we will give them the opportunity to burn. We may be unseen, may or may not be unseen, depending on where and what is being burnt.
Okay.
We're going to allow them. Just go ahead. If you have anything, just inform us.
Is there a cost for that?
Well, presently no, but in the future we hoping that we can try to bring a bit some revenue to the things that we fire rescue services by person asking us for our opinion and best way forward as it relates to burning.
Right. As it relates to the infrastructure or existing infrastructure in Bastille, are there any hindrance to effect or safety measures in doing our job properly here in the Bastille area?
Okay. Now, for me, I do believe there are many hindrances because as we have population growth, it means persons are becoming more innovative. And when persons become more innovative, it means that you're going to have three things increasing. One, residential increase. Why is a residential increase? Because if you have more people within the Bastille district itself, and we are focusing on Bastille district, not excluding all other parishes in St.
But just for the conversation.
Just for the conversation, we're going to focus on Bastille district. Now we're going to have residential increase because if more persons are coming to the Bastille area, it means that the government is going to be building more homes, or persons are going to be building their own private homes. Now that's just one. Now let's talk about the second one, which is commercial hazard. Now, persons that become innovative where they're going to start new businesses, which involve procurement of machinery, procurement of different equipment. Now, these are also hazards for us as fire department because when you see a business has been established, we always invite these businesses to have conversation with us. Now, conversation, it means of inspections of their property because numerous of times, and we all know that we visit numerous business places, and more too often that we don't even see one fire extinguisher. And if we do see a fire extinguisher, that fire extinguisher is used in a wedging mechanism. I state wedging mechanism, so let me explain it now. Means now that we keep the door slightly ajar so persons can continue commute through and to the door instead of having to open it or even to use their magnetic card to open the door or close the door. So they just use a fire extinguisher as a wedging mechanism. Now, that's the second one, and I said three. Now, let's look at the third one, which is traffic. Traffic is one of our major concerns as well. Now, if you have persons, population growth is increasing in Bastille district, it means persons going to want their own vehicles. Now, you have a family of 5. And a family of 5, you have 4 vehicles within that family. So it means 4 persons are commuting. Now, the increase in traffic. Now, we also decrease our response because the populace are not that knowledgeable, or let's say the public are a bit ignorant to the sound of an emergency siren. They, instead of pulling to the side and allowing the vehicle to pass, they're kind of like, okay, race with the trucks, for lack of better word, if I may say. Now, when you have these increase, let's look at the stats itself as it relates to traffic incidents. Now, I pulled my counterpart from the traffic department, and the traffic incidents response thus far for the year from January 1st to 31st July is 575 traffic incidents. Now, that could have been avoided to some extent if we'd be more careful. And all of those are safety for us because over the time so far for the year, we have also responded to motor vehicle fires. Let's look at the last one there that was by Skillet. A vehicle collided with the next one and it started erupting into a fire. So now that's a vehicle loss. So these are stuff that we are looking as hazard for us.
So, what about road access with the infrastructure that we have?
Road access, accessibility. Now, I spoke about residential increase. Population goes to residential.
And again,
increase.
we're sticking to the Bastard district.
Bastard district. I want the public to understand that we're sticking to the Bastard district. Now, homes are built, infrastructure are not put into place. Now, it also means now that the terrain to get to these different homes might be a bit more challenging for the fire tenders, because we also have to take into consideration that these tenders have water with them at all times.
So what I mean is,
And
very
I say clearly at all times. So it means that it's a bit challenging to move a fire truck with water, let's say 1,000 gallons, opposed to moving a pickup with nothing in it. So getting over the bumps and the ridges and stuff like that is a bit more challenging
okay, because of the weight.
because of the weight.
Okay.
So
Okay.
community. Let's talk about community here for a second.
Before you move on to the community, is,
Yeah.
is it related to the infrastructure that we talked?
Yes,
Okay.
the community,
Okay.
the infrastructure. Now, like I stated, homes are built and the infrastructure is put into place afterwards. Now, you're accustomed to park here at the corner by your home because it is more feasible or more accessible to your home to park your vehicle here. Now, the infrastructure is put into place. Now, there's a fire hydrant right there on the corner. Now, we are seeing persons still parking their vehicle on these fire hydrants, over these fire hydrants, adjacent to these fire hydrants, which is also restricting the water replenishment to our appliances, or the continuation of water to these appliances in the extinguishing mechanism.
Okay.
So I do hope that clarifies one of the restriction in terms of infrastructure.
Right. So ain't nothing we can do about that. We just have to try and maneuver around it, right? That's what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, be more courteous to what can save you, what can aid you. Be more courteous, be more cognizant of your surrounding.
Okay. Mr. Boyce, thank you for sharing that. Our next topic at hand this morning is understanding the impact on fire safety due to the population growth, right? So how has the recent population growth in Bastille District affected the demand for fire safety services? That's one thing you keep mentioning on mind, the growth.
Yeah,
but how has that really?
yeah.
How has that really? Is it significantly increased? Is there more people in the Bastille District? What's happening?
There are actually more persons within the Bastille district itself, and I'll provide you the numbers. Putting together the four parishes, which are St. George's, Trinity, St. Mary's, and St. Peter's, we have an increase of 11.4% from the 2011 census to the 2022 census. And those are the numbers provided to us by the Statistics Department. So we have an increase of 11.4%. Now, let me just give you a little number breakdown. Now, within the St. George's area, we have 13,652 persons more than it had in 2011. Now, in the Trinity area, we have 2,348 persons more than it had in the 2011 population census. Now, here's a good number. 3,341. Now, that is a decrease in the St. Mary's area.
That's chaos.
That's Keon. Now, for St. Peter's, we have an increase of 5,667. That is the total number for the 2020 population census for St. Mary's, which is a 21.3 increase.
All right, I'm hearing the numbers, but I'm trying to associate the numbers to how it affect the fire department.
How it affect the fire department? Because, okay, therefore, let me explain to you how it's going to affect the fire department. More persons mean that there's more opportunities for fire to start. More persons mean that we have persons leaving teenagers and possible toddlers or infants or young children at home by themselves, which also increase the fire risk. Because these persons, when they see stuff, they try new stuff. And that is why we are encouraging partnership for our fire camp. Fire camp helps a lot of families. One lady explained that the fire camp helped her a lot because she normally tells her son to turn off the stove or to turn on the stove. However, he attended the fire camp for the first time. And ever since that day, she is not allowed to tell him to turn on the stove because he's reminding her, the fire officers told me I am not supposed to go to the stove anymore.
The benefits of your labor, my friend, the benefits. I'm sure you're proud.
Very much. And that's all kudos to Mr. Clark. He's the coordinator for the fire prevention camp.
Mr. Clark, you have any input on the question to elaborate more on what Mr. Blaise said, or you're okay with his explanation?
Yes, we are okay, but we have to look at the backdrop. How can we prevent? Now we have so many an increase in population in several areas. How can we go out and minimize the threats or the hazards in the community, Mr. Blaise?
Okay. One of the things that we can use as a mitigating effort, and it is partnership. Partnership with communities, partnership with different groups, partnership with business places. Now, I explained earlier that too often we go to business places and we recognize that we see no fire extinguishers. Now, if the business proprietor knows the importance of a simple fire extinguisher at that enterprise, then that conversation will be having with the fire department itself.
Right.
So these are conversations that we need to have. Community groups. There are many non-profitable community groups or non-governmental organization groups that they have around St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's not forget Nevis. Now, we engage in those community is also putting a fire officer into that home, into that community. So when they see something that is not safe, instead of actually waiting until it becomes a hazard, they would actually do their best to get it rectified or remedy in somewhat by having this conversation with us. So educating the populace is one of the mechanisms that we can use to deploy to minimize all these hazards that we are facing.
Okay. Thank you for more partnership.
Partnership.
Population growth, my friend. I'm sorry. That's a big concern for my end. I'm hearing you making mention of that a lot this morning.
Yes.
Has it affected your response coverage in terms of the fire department?
Our response coverage, our response coverage have grown because we recognize that we are an ever-evolving country. And as we evolve, it means that we have more developments going on. We have seen developments. Let's look at Sunridge. Let's look at Park Hyatt. Let's look at Christoph Harbour. Those are places that when me and you were children did not exist. However, we still have the one fire station to service all these areas. So as the area grow, we are simply looking to grow our fire department. How are we going to grow the fire department? We are going to grow the fire department by making amendments to what we presently have. Because what we have, it is 1970 not, for lack of a better word, but we are in 2024, which we have to be more technologically advanced. Technologically advanced means that we need to procure drones because we're recognizing that we have wildland fires in several places. So we need to deploy a team to cover these areas to see where we can have conversation with residential owners to do fire breaks around their premises, which is to clean a particular width around their premises.
Right.
Same as business places. We need to actually have more technological, persons need to reach us more quicker. Instead of dialing 465-433, we need to develop reintroduce our short code. We had a short code one time ago which was 333. However, it was being misused, so I am not certain as the reason as to why it was not it's non-existent. But we need to reintroduce these short codes because dialing 7 digits might be a challenge when someone is in distress opposed to dialing 3 numbers.
It's also free.
Yes, point taken, gentlemen. Something to consider going forward. What about in terms of consideration, the fire department? Do you have a say, or are you a part or considered in the planning process in these new communities and these new development? I know you mentioned earlier of the fire hydrants, where they are, and the issues you have with parking and people parking over the fire hydrants. Are they now strategically placed better in the new development areas?
Mr. Clark, take that one, please. Okay. Now, developments of these new areas, conversations have been held as it relates to these new developments, and we are seeing some improvements in the infrastructure layout itself. Now we are seeing business places with fire stations, which is a simple hose really inside the building itself. Now some building, let's use the Ross School. Now what they have is a fire suppression installed in their building itself, where fire department can come and connect to a pipe outside of the building, that in the event that the water is shut off because of whatever emergency happening at the building, fire department can connect to those buildings and supply media that will continue the fire suppression itself to those buildings. So yes, we are seeing an increase. Is it adequate? I would say yes for now.
What
But
about
it
roads?
can do better.
What about roadsides? Size, pardon me. I know, like for example, there's some areas have small roads.
Small roads. No,
In the new development, are you still seeing that?
in the new development, no, we are not seeing those small roads. What we're seeing is more accessibility to our big tenders. You would not see our aerodrome tenders in the municipal response that often, but because of our water issue, you may see them now and again. And they have the challenges as well.
Can we have just about 10 minutes or so left inside of the program? I know I said the lines are really open in the lines. I know the conversation is going really fast. So let's take this opportunity to share as much as we can, and maybe we can come back on another time and hear from the public as they digest the information and could probably come up with suggestions and solutions to help you guys. Let's end the show with some of those fire district concerns as it relates to Bastia. Let's talk about residential fires and new housing development. What are your plans?
Okay. Plans for mitigating efforts? Okay. The mitigating efforts for residential fires are public education is one of our major plans. Now, fire prevention unit, we have this unit deployed, or it was developed some years ago within fire department. It is a unit that was long overdue to be developed, and now it has been developed. We need to utilize this service as much as possible. Public education, we cannot emphasize too much or not enough on that. We need to educate the populace on fire safety mechanisms that can reduce residential fires, which can also reduce commercial hazard, which can also reduce traffic incidents itself. We need to reach out to our emergency units. I'm not here only speaking as a fire officer, and speaking as an emergency responder. Emergency responding units we have the ambulance service, we have the police, and we have the fire department. We have so much that we can do for the public, but the public need to reach out to us and let us work together collaboratively to mitigate against all of these hazards that we have.
Mr. Clark, any input from you before we move on?
Yes, basically, education is the way to go. So in the meanwhile, we have to continue going to the schools, meeting with the children, let's say during assembly. If they have any club time, you can include us in the club 1 hour, 2 hours afternoon, where we can do the you slip me. Yeah, but we also need to go to the different. We have church groups. We can go into the church as well. They have some clubs, the Boy Scouts, the girls, the Boys Brigades, and those areas. We can do some community gatherings, some town hall meetings, some community interactions. Just take a walk through the Cairn area.
Right.
Walk through the village area, give out some pamphlets, educating persons knocking on the doors.
Door to door.
Right, what to do and what not to do. Remind them and educate them about the use of the fire extinguishers, that they need the smoke detectors, they need a fire evacuation plan in place in an event of a fire, how to extinguish the fire if they can. Hear the sound, get out, make sure they get all of the family members out and go to a safe area. For us internal now, we will need to continue our educational drive, training our officers in a number of areas. Education, we spoke about the increase in traffic accidents. We also need manpower. We also need more tools and equipment, state-of-the-art fire appliances, and certification in different areas as it relates to firefighting. So once we are indoors doing what we have to do to go out to the general public to ensure their safety. We are also asking the general public to assist us in focusing on their fire prevention aspect and mechanism at home. So once we put everything together, we will have a wonderful and safe community and federation.
Finally, gentlemen, let me ask this. How can collaboration between federal, state, and local governments be improved to enhance the fire safety concerns? Yeah, you smile, yeah.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, go ahead.
I'll take that one. I am the person to take this one.
Thank you, sir.
Now, thank you for that question. Let me say thank you for that question. It's a important one, and it needs to be heard. Now, partnership. What we recognize is that let's use our fire summer camp. Now, that camp have done a lot, like I explained to you about one parent explaining to me what he have done for her home itself. Now, what we do recognize is that every year we solicit donations. Every year we get denial of some donation, we get approval of some donation. So we're basically at the borderline. Now, what me, Ryan Blois, what the fire department is looking forward to is more partnership. We cannot depend on government itself. There's so much the government can allocate to us in terms of financial aid. Let us have partnership. I spoke of many opportunities where companies can utilize the fire department. So let us merge a partnership where you take fire summer camp, where you take fire week. Because in all honesty, GQ, fire department, the recognition of fire department is known when something affects you, the individual. Let us have this partnership that we can now publicize fire department in this way. Fire department unofficially does not have a website. That is something that the populace needs to know about fire department, know about the updates of fire department. Who are overseas is basically waiting to hear this show. This show is very vital. Without this show, most persons would not even know about fire safety for them here and for them there. Now, let us build a partnership with different businesses so we know directly, GQ, you're our platinum sponsor for the Fire Summer Camp annually. GQ, you're our bronze sponsor, you're our gold sponsor. Let us build that partnership.
That commitment going forward.
On annual commitment, let us build these things. Because these are things that can help the public to be educated, to help your business, to help your family to be educated on fire safety itself.
Mr. Clark, I think he covered for you.
Yes, quickly, partnership is very important. We have businesses like Carib Supply, who sells fire extinguishers. We have TDCML Hasford, sells fire extinguishers and the smoke detectors. So when we go out, come to ZAZ, you need fire extinguishers, you need smoke detectors. Where can we get them?
We advocate.
We're advocating. Go to Carib Supply, they get a little chair in there, but we go out to market, and they will receive something on the flip end, and that's where we can build and build and build and build to make the citizens safe. So as Mr. Blaise, the partnership is very important.
Indeed. Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out this morning to share with us your concerns. I was going to ask one more question, but I'll leave that for another time. Gentlemen. But thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching as well. And stay tuned. We have the final leg of the morning show coming up. Still have some more information to share with you. We still have bulletin board. And maybe I might reach out to my boy from Domino's, man. So stay tuned.